Oh my god, we have gone on for days, but my ears are bleeding, my finger's bleeding. You won't believe it. Yet again, I've cut my finger. Absolutely straight on there. Ouchie, ouchies, catching.
Gotta be more careful, dude.
Look at that, yeah, man.
I
just need to stop doing things and just go, sort it out for me.
Just assistance. You've got assistance. You've got it.
I'll sit over here and drink my coffee and not do anything. Anyway, welcome to Guitar Parody Zone. My name is Pete.
And I am Paul.
How are you doing? Right, Lord of the absolute rock and roll amplifier.
Yes, one of my all-time favorite amplifiers.
Me too.
I love this thing. I've used a similar amp to this for a long time, until quite recently, for other reasons. So yeah, 1962.
Yeah.
Marshall JTM 45.
Marshall JTM 45.
The very first amplifier that Marshall introduced.
Yeah.
Very, very similar in design and to the Fender Bassman. Obviously, those amplifiers were coming over from the US.
Yeah.
And Jim Marshall, who was a drummer, decided to start building his own amplifiers.
Yeah.
Put them together, as opposed to importing all the components and importing the expensive Fender amplifiers. It wasn't a cheap thing to do then, and it's not a cheap thing to do now. And it just ended up sounding different because of the components and everything that he actually used in there. So there's a couple of different things in there that made them sound the way they do. And he kind of, I was going to say he kind of got lucky, but whatever happened, this was the result.
Yeah.
And it's the sound that made that made rock. It's the Marshall, the Hendrix sound. It's the Angus Young sound. It's just
the classic sort of. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like this amp is because it's actually using a form of 6L6 amp tubes.
Yeah.
And for me, that is kind of that Fender sort of clean. You can do that kind of cleans with it, but you can also, when you crank it up, it just sort of goes, because it's got the two, they're called 588-1s, so it's a form of a 6L6, isn't it? It's not really a 6L6, but it's kind of an American sort of, or an English term for it.
I don't know if the American term is 5881, so feel free to
maybe somebody can comment underneath and tell us what.
5881 are the same thing, but I'm sure some Valve aficionados.
Yeah, there'll be somebody out there knowing it, and it's basically it's a very simple amp. You've got one channel, you've got inputs, you've got two inputs.
You really have two channels because the way the amp worked back then. So we have very, very simple and straightforward. We have the presence, bass, middle, treble, but we have a high treble and we have a normal input there as well.
Yeah.
So originally the plan would be that you would just plug a bunch of different instruments into there.
Yeah.
It didn't take long for guitar players to realise that in order to make them louder and get a bit more oomph from the amp, you could bridge those two together, which is what we've done there. So you can take and put those two inputs together and it blends both channels together. It just sends the signal straight back out of the other one and into
the other one.
Into the second input. So it's kind of, I suppose we could say it's a two-channel amplifier, but it's not.
Wasn't that kind of a thing that they had in the first Fender Twins as well back in the 50s? You know, they had four inputs as well, but one with like a microphone input, and you can actually bridge them as well.
Oh, I was
not
aware of that.
Yeah, so that it might have come from that. Who knows? But somebody probably will. If somebody knows, please let us know on below. But I've seen, the old Joe Bonamassa recently. His whole lineup is like an old Fender twin amps, and you can see those four inputs in it. So it's like high and low and a mic and an instrument. It says on them.
Oh,
anyway.
I did not know that.
There you go. So you learn something new every day. Indeed. So there's not much to say. If you know Marshall, and he made the 4x12 cab. Actually, he's got a really good sort of relationship with Lee's granddad, I think, at that time and stuff, and because they sort of started at the same time, they were both drummers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so
and Lee did the JTM1, I think, the one special 50 anniversary for Andertons. Which was sold out really quickly.
Because Jim had his own shop down here, didn't he?
He did.
So both drummers
exactly.
and stuff.
So, but it's one of those amps that's just an iconic amp, and there's not much to say about them. You know it.
I mean, the only thing that I kind of really want to add to that is that like years ago working in music stores, we always had all of these different Marshalls come in, and there's a lot of great sounding Marshalls. I remember ordering one of the 87Xs, which is a reissue, very, very, very similar to this. Yeah. And I remember plugging in just to test it for a customer. And I'm having the same sensation today, really, and I think we probably all are. You plug into this and you play a few chords and you can kind of really feel your trousers flapping and the hairs on. It just makes the hairs on my arms stand up.
I know it is.
There's something electric about the sound of these amplifiers, and I mean that is loud.
That's loud. And really in the room as well, we've got a 4x12 cab here, which is it's.
But how loud is this amplifier?
But it's only 30 watts.
It's
30 watts.
30
it's less. It's less than a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe, which is 40 watts.
Yeah. It's just a loud amp.
It is,
but a great sound. Great for taking pedals.
Six pedals really well.
Great for doing that thing where you just turn everything up full.
Yeah.
But let's not do that.
We should try it. We're going to try it.
We're going to need ear defenders if we do that.
But we are going to try it. I promise you that we have to try.
Wait until I go home.
No.
Wait until we're outside.
Because we have to. We have to do that. That's what it all comes to.
It's got to be one motion. You got to go.
You have to go to 11. Yeah. I had one experience once where I was doing. It was a mime basically, and I was going to be strapped into these this harness and fly around on stage and do loops, right? That's. I'd say no more. But
can we do that?
Yeah, can we do that?
We've got some new.
We've got someone. Yeah, exactly. So what happened was the backline company was hiring in, so it looked cool. So I had 6 4x12 cabs.
Yep.
And then I had 6 heads, all stacked on top of each other, and it was the Plexi as well. I think it was the Plexi, but I was like, what, I have to just... And I had an SG custom with the 3 pickups, and we were rehearsing it. We were setting everything up, trying to rehearse it in the production place. I was like, I have to plug this in. I just have to plug it in. and we plugged it all in, like everything in, plugged it straight into the SG custom, into the amp, and just went like this with everything. And then we were like, everybody, let's just see what happens. Let's stand back. And it went, and I went like this, just banged down a G chord on it,
and it all blew up.
It was but it was amazing. It was not loud. You know what I mean? It was loud, but it was not piercingly loud. You could just feel it in your whole body.
Yeah,
was just going like that, and we were all going arms up. Couldn't get our arms down again. Anyway, that was a great moment for Marshall rock tones.
A great moment in your life.
And I'll never probably get the chance again, you know. Probably plug into in-ears and go, oh yeah, that sounds alright, you know.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I mean, this is one of my favourite amps.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love it. I just love the sound of that, and it's a sound.
And you've got one.
I have the 87X, which is a slightly different one. It's a recreation of a later.
But they brought it back out in '89, didn't they? So
yeah.
when this is the reissue one, we got the vintage reissue. So it's not the hand-wired one, which they also do a hand-wired one, which is a bigger box, I believe. It's kind of a bigger sort of thing because they brought out the whole hand-wired range. And this one is the one that they reissued in '89 and has done since then. And Anderson is starting to stock them again now because they are just amazing amps, you know.
They're killer.
And
I don't see enough of these in music stores.
I know.
They seem to be quite a rare amp. So.
Yeah.
But maybe it just hasn't got the features on that like some of the modern players want. You know, I mean, there's no effects loop on that.
No effects loop.
Yeah, effects loops weren't heard of in 1962, so this doesn't have the effects loop either. So
you know what? That's I've always had old Vox and old Fender Bassman and sort of dual Showman's heads and Marshall had one of these stolen ones, and it's kind of it's. I've always just plugged everything, reverb and delays and everything in the front, and it just gives it sort of it's a different tone. People, the purists probably go, oh god, I can't do that. I need everything after and all stuff. And I just go,
yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely down with you on that. And when I, using the Marshall head that I have, it's I would do the same thing. I think it's always that thing because the amp is relatively clean. It's like you're not going to get screaming high gain tones from this.
No.
And it's no good for doing drop tune, genty metal or anything.
No.
You're just going to get a really punchy, electrifying kind of sound from that.
Yeah.
And I think in that case, in that situation, delays and reverbs and everything are kind of fine into the front of the amp.
That's my thing. I like it.
Yeah.
I really, really want one again.
It's a good thing.
It's a good
thing. Yeah.
Anyway, we need to play some stuff. So what we have here.
I mean, the only other thing I would like to say,
sorry,
if the guys from Marshall are listening,
is
why do Marshall not do relic amplifiers? I've come across a whole collection of vintage old amplifiers, and they all look super cool. And Fender do it, and everybody's on the relic thing, and I think Marshall should really have.
That's a good idea.
A relic amp, because they look great when they're beat up.
Best up. You know what? That's one. This one goes out to Marshall, guys. Think about that. Relic Marshall amps.
Yeah.
Good idea, man.
Yeah, certainly the old stuff. I think it is.
Even with those, when you spray the white spray on it, you put a thing on and spray your name on it or something.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Let's make that happen.
It's an amp that looks great when it's all beat up and everything. But unfortunately, those old beat up amps, as we all know, aren't necessarily the most reliable amps in the world when they're,
And actually, John, you've got there.
When they're 50, 60 years old, it's.
But that's it. That's it. It doesn't. That's it. I had a 68 Vox or 64 Vox, and it was great, but it just broke down over time. But that comes to this Relic Original. So that's the sort of difference. This is the first time I've actually had this on because it's very, very temperamental. 64.
So it's an old guitar.
Who knows if it's original or not? But it plays good. It sounds good. But it's very, very. Lacquer is not original, but anyway, it sounds great.
Your scratch plate's very white.
Yeah, it is very white. I think it's something else, but anyway, I've had this for many years, about 48 years.
48 years.
No.
Wow. And all that wears real. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. It's all just for me biting and going. Okay, let's have some listen to the amp. So we got Fender. We got Lee's 58. Reissue Les Paul. I've got a 335. We've got 2 Strats, and let's have a listen. So you go first. We got some different pedals down here. You've got a Nobles OD 1, and a carbon copy delay.
Yep.
And I've got a T-Rex replica delay and a Grizzle King, and we've got a reverb as well, which going in. So we both use that just to give it a little bit of a.
Oh, I didn't realise I had a bit of reverb.
Would you like it off?
No. Oh no, don't never get rid of reverb.
Okay, well
it's just far too exposing without the reverb. And especially with an amplifier like this, because this amp doesn't take any prisoners, you know. That's that's the thing. This is
that's what it is. All right. You go first. Play me something lovely and beautiful. If you want to twiddle some of the to the normal, so we can hear the high and treble and gain and stuff like that, you know.
Well, you could do that. I mean, I don't think it makes a lot of difference on this particular amp as well. I mean, see what you think.
We'll see. I'll just do it while you play. I'll do a little twiddle. I'm just gonna put my guitar down. Yeah. Off you go, man.
Bit of overdrive?
That was a bit of that was just I'll just twiddle around on the knobs real quick. As you said, there's not again.
I wasn't really sure. There's not
There's not much. It's just got a great tone from the get go, and that's it, isn't it? It's just nice. Yeah, you can hear the presence when you kick the presence in. That's probably the one that does most in that sort of respect. Anyway.
Yeah, EQ's kind of gonna just be.
It is sort of what it is.
It is what it is.
But it's
a great sound.
It's been great. Yeah. So kick some overdrive in.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. And it didn't peak at all, and I sneaked you up there, loudness.
You
Hang
sneaked.
Oh, it's the last video of the day. It's getting a bit late.
There was nothing sneaky.
There was no sneak
There was not
in
sneaky.
Anywhere. There was nothing sneaked.
No. I noticed. I could feel it. I could feel it. You were doing something.
Oh God.
My trousers.
Oh God! No! Stop talking about.
My trousers were shaking. My hairs had gone up on my arms.
Oh my goodness me! This is turning into a different show, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Good. That was epic, wasn't it?
That's awesome.
As the kids say.
That's awesome.
Epic.
Yeah.
Right. Let me.
That is really. That's really.
Isn't that
walking things up? Yeah.
Hello. You know what? That's a great video to end the day, isn't it? Where when you get in your car and you drive home and you've got that feeling that you've just turned up a JTM 45 on a 4x12.
Did you have that on full there?
No.
No.
No. There was a little bit more to give.
30 watts.
30 watts.
30 watts. Yeah.
And you know what? Again, it's not one of those things where my ears hurt because the sound is good, so my ears are not hurting when I'm playing it that loud. Do you know what I mean?
No.
You don't know what you mean? You know what I mean.
But my ears are hurting.
Are they? Because my ears just go, I love this. This is lovely.
Yeah.
I know it's loud, but it doesn't give me bad frequencies and bad sort of.
No, it's not.
I can listen to it.
It's not bright and it's not raspy and it's.
And that's
it's a nice.
Exactly. And normally when somebody else is playing, you go, oh, that's a bit loud. But and when you're playing yourself, you can play much louder. But you're actually playing, and I didn't even hear that. So anyway, right, moving over.
Cool.
Now this is going to be fun, isn't it? So
I hope so.
Bang. Right. So this is the Les Paul. Blues legs. Reverb off. Reverb.
awesome.
There's nothing bad to say. I've got nothing bad to say about this amp. I think it is one of the best amps that's out there. Really,
I'd almost say the guitar amps haven't really got much better since 1962.
It's
genuinely one of my favorite amplifiers.
Yeah, exactly.
Other amps have come along and other amps do different things.
Yeah.
I mean, that for me, those as good as it.
But it is kind of that and the Fender and then the Marshall. Those are the two sort of granddads. So everything else that's come out after that are great amps. There's loads of great amps out there. That's not what we're saying.
Absolutely.
But everything starts somewhere.
Yeah.
Amp evolution, isn't it? And it just starts somewhere, and that's Milton Keynes, man.
Yeah, I mean,
no, that's not where they started, but they started.
I mean, and like you say, it's inspired so many players and has inspired so many different amps.
Yeah,
you can almost take, what you were saying before. There's the Fender, there's the Marshall, and the Vox, and really from that, everything's kind of come from those three amps. Maybe Mesa Boogie, obviously modified Fenders to start with, but. That's your main.
I think they're probably one of the main sort of contributors especially when it comes to the high gain stuff.
Yeah,
they were the first really big, the rectifier.
Yeah, absolutely. So that created a whole generation of different things.
It was completely. I can imagine the first person who did that. It's like, can you imagine? For the first time going in to a shop, looking for an amp, and you go in there, and there's this standing there, sort of a stack. And you go, oh wow, what is that? That looks ridiculous. And you take your Les Paul and you go, or your Strat, or you plug into it. I'm just going to check out what it sounds like. And you just go for the first time, and you go, bang. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Back then.
But then back then in 1962, you hadn't really had
in the UK.
Those sounds weren't really there either. So that sound that we're getting so excited about now was maybe not even the sound that they wanted in 1962. I mean, Hendrix hadn't come along that distortion. I mean, guys they were still slashing speaker cones and trying to get distorted sounds and everything. So you may have plugged in there and gone, the guy in the guitar started going
Townsend
it's a bit too distorted, it's a bit too driven.
And
I want
really
clean,
loud. I want a clean thing, and
then later on, that's
you
when
got the Who and Jimi Hendrix, and you got all these people that just went, you know what? I'm just going to turn this up as loud as it goes, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go from we need 30 watts to we need 100. I mean, who would listen to that and decide that? I suppose if you're Pete Townsend and you're playing a massive stadium,
it's not loud enough for me.
Yeah, but I need something louder. But I mean, that's loud in this room. But before really good PA systems and everything, that's why Pete Townsend. That's why they wanted. He wanted all that stuff. They did a 200 watts, the general one. Yeah,
once in a while it's like a Megalodon shark, isn't it? Once in a while it sort of comes up on eBay or somewhere online, and there's like a 200 watt.
Absolutely.
Collection that comes up, and I'm like, can you imagine?
But famous players using those as well.
Who was that? They used that. Was that Randy Rhoads and stuff?
I believe that Paul Kossoff used to.
Paul
use
Kossoff,
that.
yeah.
He was a big fan of that, and Mick Ronson as well. David Bowie, that was the 200 watt Marshall, but that was when they were throwing as much sound out as they could because the PA wasn't capable of dealing with that. But now you can get something like this, have it at this kind of volume, which is still loud. Mic it up and have it going through your nice PA. So, killer amplifier. Can't say anything bad about it. Absolute classic. Looks great. And I just wish it was a bit beat up and a bit relicked.
So Paul really wants you guys to make a relic. Paul Hindmarsh says
the Paul Hindmarsh signature
relic Marshall. Anyway, listen. I think we played enough, and it's loud. I think the last thing we need to do is to just turn it up completely full whack. Woo! Would you like to play that? Because I know I can see how excited you are about the sound, and that's not even that's the truth. Okay. So you wanna do that?
Okay, let's go.
So this is gonna happen now. So I'm going to literally turn everything up on absolutely full whack. Okay. Okay, and that is a bombshell to end on. It is just...
Yeah, oh man.
That was nothing. You had a bit of delay on.
I had a bit of delay towards the end. The rest of it was the overdrive from the amp. That was those 5881s, those ECC 83s,
the 1287s, and
they were all cooking.
It's like fantastic. Anyway, Marshall, we love you guys. This is just a great amp, and that's why we have used it a lot in this video rooms for stuff, because it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, right. Guitar Paradiso out. Marshall JTM 45, they are in store at Andertons now. Links will be below. You should really come in and try one out. Turn it up to 11.
Absolutely.
And
if you've got hairy arms like me.
Fantastic. Guys, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.